Hello, everyone. Welcome to Going Solo with Cece, and this is the newstreamingnetwork.com, home of Going Solo and Going Bold, and our wonderful radio station, WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. And I want to thank you guys for listening to us on Roku and our Roku audio, which I'm really excited about. Something kind of new for us, and you guys are really taking hold of it. So thank you again for doing that and listening to all our shows. We appreciate you. But let's get on with our topic today, because our topic, we're going to be talking about step forward towards your new life. And we're going to bring up our guest right now, Suzanne Campi. Suzanne, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Cece. Hello, everybody.
Oh, it is so great having you here. Now, Suzanne, you've got letters behind your name, so we're going to say them, that you are a CPCC, you're an ACC, a certified co-active coach, transitional coach, and your retirement coach. You emphasize in the equality of important psychosocial aspects, such as purpose, growth, health, relationships, play, spiritual, and adventure, and legacy. And that makes this life phase truly fulfilling. Now, I love that because I saw that in your bio, and I thought, what a lady, and I got to get to know her because I love that. Purpose, growth, health, relationship, play. There's everything. You cover the gamut of it, which is why you're such a successful transitional coach. And so thank you so much for taking the time being with us. Tell us a little bit about you and how, what all those letters are, C, P, C, C, A, C, C, and why do you do what you do?
Aw, thank you, Cece. Well, geez. I am, as it says, a certified coach. That CPCC is a certified co-active coach. That was the training I got. It was a rigorous training. And then the ACC just means that I am certified through the certification body, which is the ICF, the International Certification Coaching Certification Foundation. So I always say I have an eclectic background. I went through a lot of sales roles. I sold real estate. I sold my own gym. I owned and operated a fitness studio for 5 years, which was lovely and daunting at the same time. Loved working with my clients. And then I worked in high-tech recruiting a lot. So when I stopped and said, shoot, I want to reinvent again, what am I going to do? I looked at the common thread and I thought, I just have to be in a capacity where I'm helping people be better versions of themselves, however that is. And it's funny because I went through being a career coach when I was recruiting, and I moved on to transition coaching because I just found that people in any change in their life, it's hard and we tend to fight it. And I saw that there was a need there. My heart honestly went out to people and how to get them to realize their own strength. I always say a coach never tells you what to do. They just lock arms with you and go side by side and keep reminding you who you are. So you get that strength to move forward again. So it's been a really fun road, and how I've ended up somewhat niching. I do all transitions, but recruiting, that still comes out of my mouth. Retirement is just so fun. It's my peers now. And I realized that every dinner we sat down at, everybody would look over, and it was typically all women at a table saying, when are you going to retire? I don't know when to retire. And I realized it wasn't the financial piece that was getting them. Most of them had that dialed in. And I'm not a financial planner, so that's not my ballywag. I send those people somewhere else. But it was all the other parts. What am I going to do? And I would like to ask the question, who are you going to be? You get to reinvent. It's so exciting. It's so exciting once you get over the sheer terror of not having that business card anymore. And it's a transition. It goes through the same transitions that are phases of a transition that William Bridges wrote the book ages ago about transitions. You have an ending, and that starts your new beginning. So usually you're a little bit in shock when that ending happens. And then you go through what he calls a messy middle, which I like to call the miraculous middle, is where you figure things out. You zig, you zag, you cry, you lay in the fetal position, you jump up and down. Everything happens there. And then you have a metamorphosis and you poop out into your new beginning. So it's a fun time. I realize when people are terrified, I can help put them at ease and help them, like I said, remind them who they are.
That's wonderful. I just think you're terrific because that is so needed, a transitional coach. And a lot of people don't realize they're stuck until they are stuck,
Mm,
and then they realize, oh my gosh, I got to do something. And our station
right.
is completely about transition, completely, because when I decided to do this and I decided to go with the going solo, it wasn't necessarily at that time geared towards singles. It was in my mindset, it was geared towards individually reaching down deep and trying to move forward in your life. And so you're going
Mm,
solo in that regard. And that could be anything with regards to, work or relationships or just life in general, that we
exactly.
are really a singular element to be able to have to process what we need to do in our own life and be able to move forward, whether we have a partner or not.
So true.
So that was my mindset when I came up with the plan of going solo. And then
Mm,
a lot of singles caught on to that and realized, wow, this is really a great thing because we can connect with other singles, and we can be next to like-minded people that
yes.
are going to raise us up over the bar to move us forward. And so
Mhm.
I love that because I think that's exactly what you're about, in your coaching.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. I just ran a beta test for
Mhm.
a program I'm going to run out or run. Run out. I'm going to roll out next year. That's the word. And I had 10 powerful, lovely women in it. And, some were single, some weren't. That really wasn't the point. But like you said, when you're going through something, it's really you alone. Even if you have that loving partner, it's really your thing, and you're the one who's going to figure out what to do and move forward, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I love that. I just feel that women have so much power in group, and so much power when they realize they're not alone, and that's what you're giving them too. You're
Mhm.
helping them realize, you know what, this is normal. You're not alone. I think people think, I'm going to retire one day, I'm going to walk out Friday, get my little gold watch, and then I'm going to be happy on Monday. But ooh, it's a process.
Yeah.
And if people can plan that ahead of time somewhat, so that's where I want to bring these people together so they can bounce things off each other. And I found that there was such power on that Zoom call just because of the things they were tossing out. And then you'd see other people's lights go on. And it's not just about doing anymore. It's about,
Mhm.
who are you being? Who are you now? You get to reinvent that. And who did you have to push down when you were working all those years? Who in there didn't get to be themselves? Was it your spiritual side, or your woo side, or your fun play side? Usually we tampered that down, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I want to get them playing again. I always say I bring out the hula hoop. If I have them physically, I bring out the hula hoop. We are going to learn to play again. We're going to find out what you did as a kid to play. I still love to freaking throw rocks. I mean, I'm that goofy, but we got to look back at what we did to play and what we'd like to do to play, who we like to be. When somebody asked me that question, I pictured who I wanted to be. It's kind of goofy, but I pictured myself kind of like bouncing around like a 3-year-old. I'm like, that's who I want to be. I want to be that bouncy person again. She went
Right.
away. Where'd she go? When you're
Right.
told not to be bouncy.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, it's funny because I was talking to my girlfriend just the other day, and I said, "Well, we're not old because I remember my grandmother
Yeah.
being like my age and thinking, wow, she was pretty ancient, and like I'm nothing like that. I'm on the go. I'm doing things. I'm learning new technology. I'm trying to be full of life, right?
Yeah.
And she totally wasn't. She was sitting watching soap operas, and that was
Oh,
pretty much her
no.
that was her life. And we as women, and I think even men today, we got it going on, man. We
I
are
think so
stepping
too.
forward into our lives boldly, and which is why we came up with going bold. We're moving boldly into our life, and we're not being
Mm.
fearful of what we thought it would be. We're creating what we want it to be, and
Right.
I
We
and
could
I
have
love.
another 30 years left, or 40 years after retirement. We got to
Mhm.
plan for that. And we got to plan to have life in our years, not just years, right? plan to have fun years ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're saying, the baby boomers and the Xers aren't going to do it the way it's done before. We're reinventing a whole new retirement next chapter. And some people start this in their 50s. It's like, okay, what can I be excited about next? I don't want to be on the corporate wheel anymore. What am I going to do that really floats my boat? And you get to reinvent, re-energize.
Talking to some people too about that, and they were, volunteering, but then they find themselves so busy volunteering. They're doing, still in the corporate kind of field, they're helping nonprofits and things like this, and they're busy as all get out, but they're loving it because, their schedule is their schedule. They can make it up as they go. They can share their knowledge that they've been able to grow for years to be able to go out. So yeah, I think we can step forward, really step towards our new life, and not look at, facing towards, and I know a lot of us are facing towards retirement. What is retirement? Retirement, when we think about retirement, it's really just not going to the same old job all the time. Maybe I think
it's not right. The word makes it sound like there's an easy chair involved, doesn't it? In soap operas. I know. I looked at the vernacular of that word and I thought of changing it, but I'm like, no, it's what's commonly known, so I'll leave it there. But I like to add repurposing, refurbishing, rebuilding. Where are you going next, and where are you going next with passion this time?
Yeah, absolutely. I know I have a group of girlfriends and we travel and we do things together and we have a great time, absolutely great time. And I'm still working. They're all not working anymore and I'm still working. And they keep saying, you're going to have to think about this, how much longer you want to do this, because there's other places we want to go.
I know. It is a toss up when all your friends are retiring. Mine are, and mine have, and every one of my siblings. I have 7 siblings. Everybody's retired. But I'm really happy that I have this I've created. I left recruiting. And in fact, I just got a recruiting offer and I'm like, no, don't do it, because it was sucking your soul out. Don't. The money's so attractive. And I'm thinking, okay, if you live to be 90, you're going to need that money. But no, I'm having fun and I'm going to keep having fun. And granted, the travel isn't as easy, although I can take this with me. But I've noticed my friends are happy when they're traveling, but they're a little bored in between. So I've got the fun in between.
Right. Well, and you're also doing what you like doing, right? And same thing with me. I'm doing what I enjoy doing. So I think that's probably the number one key as we're moving forward is really think about what you like to do. And that's what you want to start doing, right? If you truly want to travel, then travel. And I hear a lot of, and I will share this with you too, Susan, is I hear a lot of people complain about their reading their like their dating profiles, and they're saying, well, the women all want to travel. They want to travel and go out and do things. And I think it's because a lot of us have not had the opportunity to really cut loose and go. We're either taking care of our families or we're working. And now as we're facing, the latter part of our years, we finally can just let go and just go, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, I think that's why that we're seeing it a lot. So I tell the guys, don't take that too hard. Don't take it like they're going to be, wanting to travel all the time.
Or take them on a trip. How about that?
Yeah, they just want to get out a little bit. They don't want to sit home. They're letting you know that they want to create some excitement in their life. And isn't that great to have a woman that wants to have some excitement in their life? So, yeah.
And who is interested and interesting.
Yeah.
You want people that are curious and interested, and that's what makes them interesting. If they sat there watching sitcoms all day, they wouldn't have too wide of a world. Yeah. And it's literally a brain thing too. Neuroscience shows that the more we learn, the more our brain grows. The more stimuli we have that's different, we get new neural connections. So why let ourselves wither? We got to keep working it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if you're a voracious reader, you're still learning a lot, right? But do different things. I know Dr. Joe Dispenza says, brush your teeth with the other hand. Even that creates different connections.
Yeah. Or my advice is just buy a new cell phone. That'll take you a while to figure that one out.
Well, I just got a new smart TV just to show how smart I wasn't.
Oh, I love
Oh my
that.
God, every time I go to watch something, I have to log in. What? I have to my goal is to not get mad at electronics.
Yes, yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. Be patient,
Yes.
have the patience to be able to learn. But so number one, I think is really trying to figure out what brings you joy in your life. If you're stepping forward in
Mhm.
your life and you're making a transition of wherever path you're on, trying to determine what would bring you joy. What would be the second thing that they would need to do in order to start stepping forward into this new life?
Ooh, celebrate themselves for how far they've gone so far. I
Oh,
find,
great.
when I talked about that phase of transition that every new beginning starts with an ending, if you
Mhm,
really process that, it's actually quite interesting. We don't typically think of that. We typically think, "Oh, something just ended and now I got to start something new and I got laid off and
mhm.
boom, I got to get that resume done and LinkedIn blah blah." But how about honoring that ending? Because I feel as a Western society, we just don't honor anything anymore. We don't ritual. And I really, I urged my people in my collective, it's called Flourish Collective. It's a forum this
Mhm,
past month that we ran to take a look at everything they did well, all the people's lives they touched in their job because they probably did,
mhm.
what they did well, what they overcame to get where they came. I work with many executive women. I work with people of all spectrum, but the
Right.
executive ones were just going, 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 maybe raising a family at the same time, maybe dealing with sick parents, elderly parents, go, 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 getting degrees at the same time. I mean, some really powerful people. And did they ever honor themselves for it?
Mhm,
And so we actually did an exercise where they really wrote themselves a thank you note and said, "Dang, I was like, look at your badassery. I mean, look at what you did that was just pretty much superhuman." And I could see their wheels turn and then they, spin, spin, spin. They they needed to honor that. And I want them to honor that. And what I want to bring to their forefront is their greatness and their powerfulness. Women are freaking resilient. And
mhm.
once they bring that forward, then start working from that place. Because people could come out of corporate America, especially here in California, it's so intense and tech and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
They are used to getting performance reviews that told them everything they did wrong, and that's horrific. So I
Mhm,
even gave them my retirement wheel to fill out, and then they told me what wasn't right on it. And I said, "There's no right or wrong on the retirement wheel. There's just simply things that you might want to pay more attention to." And
mhm,
there's definitely aspects of that retirement wheel that you'll fill out that you'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I got that. I was good at that, really good at that." So I just want them to tune into their fabulousness and
mhm,
then go from there. There's joy right there when you tune into your coolness. So once they get on that track, I really want them to back into their human beingness because they've been on
mhm,
a roller coaster of human doing, just do, do,
mhm.
do. And that can be really hard for people in retirement to back down and say, "Well, who am I?" That could be a scary question. They don't know. A lot of them have had 0 time for such a luxury as to say, "Who am I?" They've been
Right.
riding a corporate wheel. And, so getting them to back into that, slow down, be a little mindful, be a lot mindful. Just be aware of how they're who they are in the world.
Mhm,
And it's probably fabulous. And maybe if it's not, they can work on the one thing people do work on is patience. We tend to be on such a speedway our whole lives. At what point did we decide that we had to walk real fast through the office? And I remember my brother told me, "Just walk real fast. Your boss will think you're busy." But we walk fast, we move fast, so blah, blah, blah. Get to a
mhm,
restaurant, and if our reservation isn't available, we get mad. And if they don't clear our plate, blah. Be aware of your speed and back off because you have to be nowhere but here right now. And I would love it if people read Eckhart Tolle too. Eckhart Tolle. So just appreciating the nowness, appreciating where they are, and then we keep going because that the aspect of life or my retirement wheel are the aspects of life that are not financial. So
Mhm.
that's, like you said, I gave you a brief list, but there's a list of 8 of them, and we go through all of them in a
Yeah.
workshop.
Well, it's amazing because when I listen to you, I realize that you can pretty much take all of these things that you're talking about and apply them to pretty much any transition that you're going through.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
really truly can. And,
Mhm.
because we have a lot of individuals that are going through some tough times, really trying to figure out their way and make that, make that next step. And a lot of this information, they can just apply it to
Oh,
themselves.
absolutely, absolutely. Discovering who you are at this time. And it's hard when you're going through a transition, quite often you're stressed out. And when
Mhm.
you're stressed out, neurologically, you're myopic. It's hard to have you literally only have tunnel vision because picture getting chased by a saber-toothed tiger back in the day. We had to, if we were being chased and getting ready to killed, I always think I was killed by a really fast snake, actually, because I'm so terrified of snakes. But your stress level is so high, your goal is one thing, to get away. So
Right.
biologically, we're wired to, when we're stressed out, to narrow. So it's really hard to be creative. It's really hard to be patient. It's really hard to be kind. It's very hard to be in that space. So yeah, I talk about retirement, but that's more of a choice most of the time, not always. But
Right.
when it's another transition in life, say a divorce or a nasty breakup or losing a job, if you could at all step back, first of all, a community like the community you build is fabulous. Have people. That's probably the number one thing. Take a look at the family and friends. Take a look at your first level people. Who can you really rely on? And have a conversation with them. I might be high maintenance for a while. Can you deal with me? And then I promise I'll be there for you when it happens to you. Because that's
Yeah.
life, right? It's just like,
Yeah.
mama said there'd be days and stages like this, right?
Mhm.
So, the family, friends, the people, bring them close and don't shove them away. I think a lot of us, our instinct is, I got to deal with this alone. And you don't. You really have people that love you enough to be there. I know
Right.
I'm a loner, so I'd be alone and then tell them later. And they're like, why didn't you tell me? I would have been there for you. And it's an insult to your friends and your loved ones if you don't lean on them.
Mhm.
They plan on being there in hard times. And if they don't, maybe they're not the best of friends, but most of our friends love us and they want to be there for us.
Yeah, that's
Um,
absolutely. Although I do understand that sometimes you have to have that step back and that quiet time just to try to figure things out for yourself. You've got to give it
mhm.
some time because you can't always be someone telling you what to do. You have to try to determine what's the right
Oh,
thing.
no, I'm not even saying have them tell you what to do. I'm saying have them just be.
Yeah.
Even if it's on a couch with bucket of popcorn and a movie, just
Right.
to be. And in fact, the friends you probably reach for, if you think about it, are the friends that
Mhm.
don't tell you what to do.
Absolutely.
That's kinda
Yeah.
like coaching. I thought coaching until I took my certification was to tell people what to do. "Oh, this is
Mhm.
fun." No, no,
Mhm.
it's to be there and to help remind them how resilient they are and how great they are. That's all.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own answers. They might not know them at the time, but they do. They
Mhm.
do. Their answers are gonna come out of them through the process. I'm not saying
Right.
they have them in the beginning, but
Mhm.
like I said, so just the people for comfort, for love, for an occasional coffee date.
Yeah, you're absolutely
Um,
right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit more about this because this subject is really, really important. And I also want to talk a little bit about in January, you're having a wonderful group, right? And
mhm.
you're doing a program. And I want to make sure everyone knows about that because whenever you're listening to this, even if it's after January and you're listening to it, don't worry about it because all you have to do is go on Suzanne's website and she'll have all the information of whatever she's doing at that time. So never worry about whenever you're listening to this, that was when you were supposed to listen to it. And we hope that you will. And just reach out to her. Her email is Suzanne, Suzanne, and it's Campi, Campi @gmail.com. You can send her a quick email. or just go straight to her website. All of her information is there. Again, it's her name, SuzanneCampi.com. So just check it out. Never ever think that when you hear something that's too late, it's never too late. Just check out the website. There's always information there for you, and you can take advantage of it anytime that you're ready to take advantage of it. So you guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. I am so grateful to have you here on the Going Solo with Cece show, and you are listening to newsstreamingnetwork.com, home of Going Solo and Going Bold, and we're going to be right back. So just go grab a cup of coffee and get in your seat, because we've got a lot more happening when we come back. We'll be right back. Hello, welcome back. You are listening to Going Solo with Cece. I am Cece Shatz. I am fondly called the Doyenne of Relationship Building. I'm a divorce, dating, and a life coach. And I want to thank you so much for joining us here on the newsstreamingnetwork.com, home of Going Solo and Going Bold. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, which is our radio station. And so we want to thank everyone for listening to us. If you guys ever want to reach me, all you have to do is go to my website, which is goingsolonetwork.com. You can join all our groups and things like that we have going on there, and send me an email, because I actually read all of them. I answer them personally myself. I have no one that looks at them but me, at goingsolonetwork@gmail.com. And I love them, and I want to thank you so much for all that you do. I mean, my birthday was here recently, and I got so many messages and cards and thank yous and all kinds of stuff on Facebook, and I was just so touched. So I want to thank everyone for that. But let's move on back to our wonderful guest. We have Suzanne Campi here. She's a certified co-active coach. She's a transition coach and a retirement coach. We're talking a lot about that transition from, and it can be applied to anything in your life, but we're talking about maybe once you're thinking about your retiring, and you're going to retire, how to step forward in that and start living the life of your choice. And we do that when we come out of relationship loss, or whether we're, moving forward after, employment, and we decide we want to start, going down a little bit on this last quarter of our life. So you have given us, Suzanne, a lot of great information. Those of you who haven't listened to us at the beginning of the show, please make sure that you go back and listen to it, and subscribe. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That really helps us a great deal if you do that, and or our Facebook page, or all of that, because it really keeps us going, moving into that. But we had some great information talking about, finding your joy, really kind of, what'd you say, acknowledging yourself, and kind of patting yourself on the back of, jobs well done that you've done, and that you've gotten through this far in your life. And then really the encouragement of, surrounding yourself with other like-minded people that will build you up and just be there for you. If you just need someone to sit on the sofa and eat popcorn and drink wine. So if that's
those are your besties.
Yeah, you just need that sometimes. But yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about, maybe give us a few more little pointers, and then let's talk about this wonderful program that you're putting together. So what else can we share with them?
Oh boy. You know what? I was thinking about what you said when you said, sometimes you do just need to be alone. And I thought, boy, nobody really knows that better than myself. I am an introvert. I do recharge alone. So, we were just discussing before the break, who to bring in to bring in your loved ones when you're going through a hard time, but also know when you do need to be alone. I know I have those times. I'm perfectly happy alone, and I recharge alone. When I worked as a career coach, somebody reached out to me, and she just cracked me up. I said, "Oh, Mary, you're unemployed," because I knew her from before and I knew she had a big job and she had it for like 32 years in a tech company, which is unusual. And she said, yeah, I mean, I laid off. It was my family. I was so traumatized. I mean, literally, I had kids when I was there. I got married when I was there. My husband died when I was there. This place was my other home. And so she really went through it. And I said, well, I said something about when was that? She goes, oh, it's about 3 months ago. She said, the first month I laid on the couch in a fetal position. I said, good for you. I mean, 1 month, hey, honor it,
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, then I got a facelift because I figure I'm over 50 looking for a job. So that's personal, but you know what? You do what you gotta do, what you want to do. Just take care of yourself, whatever calls to you. So there's a big conversation around honoring yourself, honoring what you've done. And then when your stress lifts a little, if you can start being creative again, because we also talked about it's hard to be creative when you're stressed out. It's not what comes natural. So really just starting to get to know yourself again. Get to know yourself again. Dig in deep. Everybody has a different way of digging deep. I always say dig deep, but what does that mean? I know I can do it I like to move. So I always say I leave my troubles on my mountain because I have a mountain back here and I hike it if I'm ever wound up. And so hiking is my thing. I have to admit, I finally learned to meditate. That's a big one. But I always hesitate to say that because I think people that actually got the meditation thing down are somewhat pious about it. But oh my God, I struggle getting myself there every day. So it's a constant practice. But I tell you, those days when I do are just a little brighter, a little more creative, a little more wide open. There's more space and I can't figure it out, but it works. Bring your play self back again. Get yourself a dang hula hoop. I'll tell you what, there's these weighted hula hoops on Amazon. And they're easier than the light ones. Just get one. Digging in, like I said, that spirituality again, what's your thing? And is there something you've let go? Did you like going to a Buddhist temple, a Christian church? What's your spirituality? Go be there. Go sit if it's a physical location. Or start getting more involved. I know when I was really alone, I found a church that suited me and I love the people. They're all so nice and so warm and welcoming and full of love. So that's where I went. How about adventure? I know that adventure, as far as could you take a little trip that's kind of crazy and out of your wheelhouse? Step outside your comfort zone. I really love it when people step outside their comfort zone because you'll be so proud of yourself when you do. And it's like something we do less and less the older we get. So how about stepping outside? Yeah. I know there was a year Shonda Rhimes has a book out called My Year of Yes. That year cost me a lot of money, but it was like she realized how much she said no to things. She said, my sister just said to me, you say no to everything. Every time I ask you to something, you say no. And like I said, I think I hiked the Canadian Rockies. I hiked the Grand Canyon for 5 days that year. And it was so cool because I stepped outside my comfort. I was not comfortable doing the Grand Canyon thing for 5 days because I was with 4 people in my group and they're all under 30. And I was 55 at the time. So I'm like, oh Lord, what am I doing? I bought 5-pound sacks of sugar, put them in my backpack and kept walking with them. But anyway, I made it and I was so freaking proud. You know what? Even if I hadn't made it, I still would have been proud because I went for it. But 5 days, it was intense. So step outside your comfort zone again. And you'll step back out the other side. This too shall pass. That was my mom's favorite saying.
Yeah.
Everything passes. Your bad times pass. Just keep moving forward. Because like I say, in that middle part, so often called the messy middle, it's really a miraculous middle. I always say you kind of run in a zigzag fashion. Sometimes you step up and then you slide back 5 steps. But as long as you're going somewhere, you're making progress. You're creating something new. Just keep
Right.
moving. Just keep moving.
Right, absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about the program that you're going to be having here. So tell us about that. When will that start? How long is it? And how do we
Well,
find it?
I am doing a women's forum, and it's called the Flourish Collective. And we just ran a beta test that was just fabulous. And it will be for women this time. But I have to admit, I'm feeling a little bad for my brethren because I'm getting some reach outs from guys. So if enough men reach out, I will create one for the guys. I just feel like there'll be a little more transparency and vulnerability if we keep it to the same gender.
Right.
And because those women, they were really sharing, and they became very vulnerable and trusting very quickly because we took our oath of trust and our oath of what happens in Flourish stays in Flourish. And so anyway, I'm going to run it for probably 3 months. I'm toying with 4 months, but I think it'll be 3 calendar months. It'll probably be February, March, April, and then I'll start another one June, July, August. So I'll do, skip a month and then go. And there'll be 12, those 3 months. And we're going to go through different aspects of the wheel, which the wheel of retirement is on my website. And it's actually kind of gamified. You can go in, fill it out, and it will spit out a report for you. And even if you're not retiring, do it, because I also have a wheel of life, which has more a financial piece in it. But a wheel of retirement, I took that out because that's not my ballywag. I work with a lot of actually financial planners. They do the financial piece. I do all the other pieces of their life, which is I have broken into 8 categories. So we're going to, in the collective, we're going to deep dive into those. And it's coach led. The coach is me, but I'm throwing stuff out. I'm throwing out suggestions. I'm leading and moderating, but they take it away. I mean, they have been, meaning the women in the group, they start conversation. They support each other. I always say you're that Bette Midler song, The Wind Beneath Their Wings. It formed its own life, and it was fabulous, and nobody wanted it to end. So that was a good sign. So this is how I want them to build community, and I want them to build friends for life. And some people be friends, some won't, and that's okay. But the goal is to know you have this group of people that have your back. So I'm excited about it.
I'm sorry, did you say how many people in the?
I'm going to run it 12 to 15 each one.
Okay, 12 to 15. Okay. So if you guys are listening, you better get on her website. Let me give that to you and sign up right away because it's going to be limited to 12 to 15. And so you don't want to miss out. So again, go to her website, which is her name. It's Susan, SUSANNE. SUZANPIE.com. So make sure you guys go and sign up for it right away and shoot her an email if you want. Of course, it's Suzanne Campi at gmail.com. So please do that. So we want you guys to maybe, I just think it's so important that when we have these wonderful opportunities that we take advantage of them. And I want to thank you for reaching out and doing all that you do with the people, because I really do feel like you really do help a great deal. And I want to just thank you for being, part of our
thank you
and being on the show. So we appreciate you. Are there any last words you'd like to share with our audience?
The pleasure is mine. Well, I just thought as you were saying that this is my legacy. I always talk to people about leaving a legacy, and I'm not talking just financial. I'm talking about how are you going to leave a mark on people? Yeah. And I'm hoping that these people going through these forums will learn so much about themselves and gain a friend or two for life. So it's going to be fun. And if we are at all geographically, if we get an alumni going that's geographically centric, they can have, hiking groups or whatever, swimming groups. So I'm hoping it'll get a life of its own.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
I just want to say to people, if they're in any kind of transition, be kind to yourself, understand it takes time, go through the process. Maybe buy William Bridges' book on transitions. He's got several of them out. He's gone now. He started writing these over 30 years ago. That's when I learned about him. But it's really predictable. And when you realize it's predictable process, somewhat predictable. You're not alone. You're just
Yeah.
not alone.
Yeah, that's nice to know that you're not alone. And for
Yeah.
sure, you're not alone here on Going Solo at all. So we
That's
want to
so
thank you so
wonderful.
much for being with us again. Your website is Suzanne, SUZANNE, Campi, CAMPI.com. So please make sure you guys go to her website and check out everything that she has, because I just think you'll be pleasantly surprised at being able to join her and doing some of the different programs that she has. So I think it'd be a great step for you. So again, we talked about step forward towards your new life. And I think we're definitely doing it. And we're on the road today. Right now, we're moving forward, and I'm excited about that. So thank you, Suzanne, for being with us. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Cece.
Well,
Bye.
this is wonderful. Thank you. All right, you guys, you're listening to Going Solo with Cece. I am Cece Shatz, and I want to thank you so much for joining us here tonight. You're listening to newsstreamingnetwork.com, home of Going Solo and Going Bold, and our wonderful radio station, WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. I want to thank you for watching us on Roku, on the new streaming TV app we have. And then also, we have something new. We have the audio, and I'm just excited about that. We're hoping to grow that with more podcasts for you to be able to listen to, and you're going to enjoy everything that we have here available for you. So we want you to go boldly in your life, so step forward towards your new life. And I just love you so much. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.